Hi guys, this is the third video from Algebraic expressions, and this is the last video because on Monday we're starting a new section. Alright, this video is really important because we do a concept that you haven't done in grade 8. If you're looking for the memo of this exercise that I gave you in the last video, it's on Google Classroom. If you're not from Edenvale High and you're watching these videos, then please pop me a message in the comment section if you would like the memo. Cool. Alright, so you don't need to write down anything yet. Today we're working with multiplying binomials. So basically we're working with what happens if there's two brackets next to each other. Okay, so like the example that's on the screen. I know I've got two brackets next to each other, which means that there's a multiplication sign there. So I'm multiplying this bracket with this bracket. Okay, so if you need to multiply these two brackets, you need to use a concept called FOIL. So FOIL is just a word that we, like a thing that we use to see what we need to multiply first and second and third, etc. Okay, so write down the date, which is the 3rd of April, and the heading, which is FOIL, and you can write down the example. Cool, so according to FOIL, I need to do my first terms first. So I need to multiply x times x. So there's my first two terms. Please draw in the arrow because it just helps you to remember which terms you've multiplied and which ones you haven't multiplied yet, because eventually we're going to multiply them all together. Okay, so x times x will give me x squared. Then I'm going to do my outer terms, so x times negative 2, which will give me negative 2x. Then the two inside terms, so 3 times x is 3x. And then the last two terms, so the last two terms of each bracket, so 3 times negative 2 will give me negative 6. Once I've done that, I know I never ever leave it like unsimplified, so I need to do my like terms. So negative 2x plus 3x, that will give me x. Okay, so we're going to do some examples of these, but just make sure that you're drawing in the arrows for each example. Okay, please write down example 1, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so according to FOIL, I need to do my first terms first, so I'm going to do x times x, that will give me x squared. Then my outer two terms, so x times 3, that will give me 3x. My inside terms, negative 5 times x, and then the last two terms, negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. Simplify my like terms, and that's what I've got. Alright, try number 2 by yourself. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first two terms. X times x, that will give me x squared. X times 2 will give me 2x, the inners. 6 times x is 6x, and then the last two terms will give me 12. Just remember that you're multiplying, so you're not adding anything, it's all multiplication. Only when you do your like terms, then you would obviously add, so 2x plus 6x will give me 8x. Try number 3 again by yourself. Don't go on to number 4 yet. Alright, so number 3 again, I'm going to do firsts and then outers. So if I do that, you should have got something that looks like this. Then I'm going to do the inside terms, so 4 times negative 3x and 4 times negative 3, and that's what I will get. And then I simplify my like terms, so negative 6 minus 12, that will give me minus 18. Okay, the last one, please write it down and then highlight it. Okay, so this is still FOIL, okay, but a lot of people, what they think is that it's just like distributing the exponents. So they want to just go, oh, that's easy, x squared, 2 squared. But you can't do that because there's two terms in the bracket. So you can only do that when there's only one term in the bracket. So don't try and just distribute that exponent. Rather just realize, okay, the whole thing is being squared. That means I can actually just write it out as two brackets. Once you've written it out as two brackets, then you can FOIL it out. So first outers, inners, lasts. And if you do that, that's what you're going to get once you've simplified your like terms. Okay, so it's actually quite a nice concept. Just remember to be drawing your arrows, because a lot of the time people get confused when they don't draw the arrows. The last one we're going to do, I would like you to try by yourself. I just want to give you some hints. So the first hint is that there you've got that bracket again that's being squared, so don't try and distribute the exponent. First write it out twice and then FOIL. And then the second hint I want to give you is that there's a negative there. So once you've FOILed this out, then keep the whole thing in brackets, then distribute the negative to get rid of the brackets. Okay, so try it by yourself and then you can carry on watching the video. Okay, so thank you for those of you who actually tried it yourself. For the rest of you, this is the answer. Okay, so all I've done there is I've written out that highlighted part twice because I know I need to FOIL that out. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to FOIL this part first, then I'll FOIL that part second. Okay, so 2x times 2x gives me 4x squared. 2x times negative 2, that will give me negative 4x. The inners, 4 times 2x will give me 8x, and 4 times negative 2, that will give me negative 8. Okay, then I'll do the same for the second bracket, the second part. Okay, so that part there. So I'm going to FOIL that whole thing out. I'm going to keep it in brackets with a negative outside the bracket because I know that I still need to distribute that whole negative into every single one of those terms, which I'm going to do. So negative times a positive is a negative times a positive is a negative times a positive, etc. Okay, so if I do that, you'll see that all your signs change. And from there, you can just get your like terms. So 4x squared minus x squared, that will give me 3x squared, etc. All right. Any questions, let me know. Your homework for Monday is this exercise here. Only those questions. And then I'll show you what it looks like. This is it here. If you need to pause the video and write them down, then you can. But that's what you've got to do. All right, good luck, and on Monday we will start a new section. Please make sure that you understand FOIL because FOIL is used in grade 10 all the way to matric. So yeah, so if you don't understand, then you're welcome to pop me a mail or any of your teachers. Okay, good luck guys. See you on Monday. Well, speak to you on Monday.
By now you should have no problem multiplying out this expression. We have a monomial, or one term, being multiplied by a binomial, or two terms. To multiply this, we need to multiply each term inside the bracket by a. A times x equals ax. And a times y equals ay. Please pause to check my working. In grade 9, you also need to simplify the following type of expression. In other words, a binomial, or two terms, multiplied by another binomial. Let's go on to see how to do this. We start with the first term in the first bracket, and we multiply it by the first term in the second bracket. This gives ax. We then multiply the first term in the first bracket by the second term in the second bracket. This gives plus ay. We now do the same for the second term in the first bracket. In other words, we multiply it by the first term in the second bracket. This gives plus bx. And then we multiply it by the second term in the second bracket. This gives plus vy. We have now multiplied everything in the first bracket by everything in the second bracket, and we can't simplify further because there are no like terms. Some people like to use the word FOIL to remind them how to do this multiplication. F reminds us to multiply the first term by the first term. O reminds us to multiply the two outer terms. I reminds us to multiply the two inner terms. And L reminds us to multiply the two last terms. Please pause and try to memorize this pattern. Let's use FOIL to help us simplify this example. We begin by multiplying the first terms. X times x equals x squared. We then multiply the outer terms. X times plus 5 equals plus 5x. Then we multiply the inner terms. Plus 2 times x equals plus 2x. We end by multiplying the last two terms. Plus 2 times plus 5 equals plus 10. Are we finished? No, we have two like terms, so we can simplify further. 5x plus 2x equals 7x. Now we are finished. Please pause to check my working. Here is the next example. Let's again use FOIL to help us. We begin with the first terms. A times a equals a squared. Then the outer terms, a times minus 4 equals minus 4a. Then the inner terms, plus 3 times a equals plus 3a. Then the last terms, plus 3 times minus 4 equals minus 12. Are we finished? No, we again have like terms. Minus 4a plus 3a equals minus 1a, or just minus a. Please pause to check my working. Here is the next example. Please pause and try it on your own first. We begin with the first terms. 2x times x equals 2x squared. Then the outer terms, 2x times minus 3y equals minus 6xy. Then the inner terms, minus y times x equals minus xy. And then the last terms, minus y times minus 3y equals plus 3y squared. Are we finished? No, we again have like terms. Minus 6xy minus xy equals minus 7xy. Please pause to check my working. In the next example, we have two identical brackets with opposite signs. We again use FOIL. X times x equals x squared. Next, we multiply the outer terms. X times plus 5 equals plus 5x. And then the inner terms. Minus 5 times x equals minus 5x. And then the last terms, minus 5 times plus 5 equals minus 25. Are we finished? No, we again have like terms. And this time the like terms cancel out, so the answer is x squared minus 25. In other words, the answer has only two terms. Please note, the answer will always have only two terms if the brackets are identical with opposite signs. Please pause to check my working. In the next example, we again have two identical brackets with opposite signs. Let's go on to see if we get an answer with only two terms. Using FOIL, we begin with the first terms. 2p times 2p equals 4p squared. Then the outer terms. 2p times plus 3 equals plus 6p. Then the inner terms. Minus 3 times 2p equals minus 6p. And then the last terms. Minus 3 times plus 3 equals minus 9. Are we finished? No, we have like terms. The like terms again cancel out, so we are left with only two terms in the answer, which is what we expected. Please pause to check my working. The next example looks different. Do you know what it means? The power of 2 tells us that we need to multiply the bracket by itself. In other words, we need to do the following, which is what we've been doing the whole lesson. We proceed as before. X times x equals x squared. We then multiply the outer terms. X times plus 3 equals plus 3x. And then the inner terms, plus 3 times x again equals plus 3x. And then the last terms, plus 3 times plus 3 equals plus 9. Are we finished? No, we have like terms. 3x plus 3x equals 6x. So the answer is x squared plus 6x plus 9. Please note, when squaring a bracket, there is a shortcut you can use. We square the first term in the bracket. We then multiply the first term by the second term and double the answer. And then we square the second term. This again gives the answer we got earlier. Please note, if you are comfortable with this shortcut, please use it. Otherwise, you are welcome to use the long method. Please pause if you need to. In the next example, we are again asked to square a binomial. If we use the long method, step 1 is to write the bracket twice. We then use FOIL. X times x equals x squared. We then multiply the outer terms. X times minus 4 equals minus 4x. Then the inner terms. Minus 4 times x equals minus 4x. And then the last terms. Minus 4 times minus 4 equals plus 16. We then need to add the like terms. Minus 4x equals minus 8x. So the answer is x squared minus 8x plus 16. Let's now use the shortcut to get the answer. We square the first term. We then double the product of the first and second terms. And we square the second or last term. This again gives the same answer. This completes the lesson. Good luck with the test.